Investiture of the Gods, Chapter 6.
Yun Zhangzi, he presents the wooden sword to King Zhu, hoping it'll quiet down this dark influence. But Daji, wow, she's incredibly cunning. She immediately pretends to be upset, plays the victim card perfectly.
Oh, she's a master manipulator.
Totally. And King Zhu, completely taken in, orders the sword burned right then and there. And because it's wood, it just poof, turns to ash. Almost seems ironic.
It is ironic, and the immediate result is really striking. Daji's evil aura, that Yaguang you could translate it as demonic light or evil light, her spirit, it's not just restored, it actually gets stronger.
Stronger. So he basically supercharged the exact thing he was meant to get rid of.
Precisely. Burning that sword wasn't just, political mistake.
And while this is going down, Yun Tongzi, he hasn't even left Chao's yet. He hasn't gone back to Mount Zongyan. He's right there, witnessing this evil aura surge back. He sees it Chungzao Gongwei like bursting out, lighting up the palace again with this renewed evil energy, and he just sighs, realizing his effort was completely pointless. That must feel awful for an immortal.
Yeah, it's more than just being bummed out, though. In that exact moment, Yun Chongzi has this profound, 5-part realization. It basically lays out the grand destiny that's now unstoppable. And here's a crucial point. This isn't him just predicting the future. It's him understanding a cosmic blueprint that's already unfolding.
Okay, a blueprint. What are the 5 parts?
Right, so first, the Shang dynasty, Chengtan, it's definitely going to fall, destined. Second, the Zhou dynasty, Zhujgua, is destined to rise and take its place. Third, immortals themselves, the Shangxian, they're actually facing their own major test, a great tribulation, the Dajie, a kind of cosmic shakeup. Fourth, a specific guy, Jiangxia. Jiangxia, he's destined for big things on Earth, wealth, glory. He's a key player in the grand scheme. And finally, fifth, various gods and spirits, the Zhushane, they're all angling for their official divine titles, their Fenggao. It's like a cosmic job placement scheme is underway.
Wow, that 5-fold realization, that's huge. So the key takeaway isn't just the future looks bad, it's this is the plan, already in motion. It changes everything from if the Shang fall to just how it happens and who plays what role. It makes you wonder, though, if fate is that clear, does it take away from the courage of someone like Yun Zhangzi trying to intervene? Or these loyal ministers we're about to talk about? What does free will even mean here?
That's the big question these epics always wrestle with, isn't it? For Yun Zhangzi, even if he knows the final score, there's still this sense of duty. He has to try to fix things. But when his try gets slapped down, well, the cosmic current just takes over. So before he leaves, he does one last thing. He leaves this cryptic prophecy. For future generations, maybe. He gets out his writing stuff and writes 24 characters on the shadow wall. Specifically, the wall of Grand Tutor Jiuangxian's place, the guy in charge of watching the stars.
Okay, a shadow wall prophecy. What did it say?
The exact words were, "Evil aura defiles the palace. Holy virtue spreads in the western land. To no blood dies charge in the year of Wu-Wu with Jiazi."
Oh, very specific, very ominous. Blood dies charged.
Yeah, not subtle. And with that, Yun Zhangzi basically wraps up his mission there. He just leaves, goes back to Mount Zongyan, leaving this prophecy behind for mortals to find and, puzzle over.
So this message is just left there, on a pretty public wall, right? Near the Grand Tutor's place. Naturally, people in charge start gathering around it. They read the poem. But they just don't grasp the deep, scary meaning. They're curious, sure, but mostly just baffled.
Right, it's too cryptic for the average person.
And then the man himself, Grand Tutor Jiuangxian, head of the Celestial Observatory, he comes home, finds this big crowd milling around his place. He quickly finds out some Taoist left mysterious writing on his shadow wall.
And what's really interesting here is Jiuangxian's reaction. He reads the 24 characters. He gets that the meaning is deep, profound, but maybe not immediately obvious what to do about it. So crucially, he tells his servants to wash it off.
Wash it off? Why?
Well, think about his job. He interprets heavenly signs. He can't just let something like that sit there causing panic or looking like a direct accusation against the king without him fully understanding it first. It's kind of a practical move, maybe. Control the information, at least for now.
But Jiuangxian, he sounds like a pretty conscientious guy. He didn't just wash it off and forget it, did he?
No, not at all. True to his character, described as meticulous. Principled, he doesn't dismiss it. He starts analyzing it privately, really thinking it through.
Okay, so he's mulling it over.
And this connects directly to what he's already been seeing in his job. Remember, he watches the skies. Every night, he's been witnessing this evil aura growing stronger, swirling around the Forbidden City. He knows it signals misfortune. So when he sees this prophecy, he immediately links it to Yun Zhangzi's warning from before. about the demon in the palace. The pieces are starting to click for him, and it's alarming.
Yeah.
Very personal.
Right, so his motivation to act must be getting really strong now. He sees King Zhu totally debauched, ignoring his duties, surrounded by these corrupt officials, Quan Jian leading him astray. There's this palpable feeling of Tina Chominyo and heaven worries, people resent. That classic sign that a dynasty's in trouble.
Exactly.
And he feels this deep loyalty, not just to Zhu, but to the previous emperor, the late one. He just can't stand by and watch the kingdom collapse.
Which brings us to a really crucial point. In times like these, with so much corruption, disaster looming, what is the duty of a loyal minister? Especially one like Du Yuanxian, who sees the bigger picture, the cosmic signs? His decision. He decides to strongly admonish the Son of Heaven, Lijian Tianskne. He's going to submit a formal complaint, a memorial, not for himself, not for personal gain, but for the nation, for the people. It's an act of, well, profound courage.
That sounds incredibly risky. I mean, maybe even suicidal. You're going to confront a king who literally burned a magic sword because his concubine cried. What difference could one minister's words possibly make when destiny seems so fixed?
That's exactly what makes it courageous, right? He understands the forces at play, probably better than most, yet he chooses to act anyway. His duty, his loyalty to the kingdom itself, not just the current king, drives him. He's basically saying, look, even if this ship is sinking, it's my job to try and grab the wheel.
So Du Yuanxian doesn't waste any time. He sits down that very night and writes this memorial, pours all his observations, all his fears onto the page.
He puts it all down.
Then the next morning, he heads over to the archives, that's where officials submit their petitions, and he runs into an unexpected but potentially powerful ally, Prime Minister Shang Rong. Now, this isn't just some random official. Shang Rong is described as a 3-generation elder, a super respected, venerable figure at court. That's a big deal.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Shang Rong showing up adds serious weight to Du Yuanxian's plea. So Du Yuanxian tells him everything, the evil aura getting worse, the king completely checked out, neglecting everything, and he asks Shang Rong to deliver the memorial. And Shang Rong, he agrees immediately, says he cannot just sit idly by. His age, his status, it gives the whole effort and authority that maybe Du Yuanxian alone wouldn't have. It shows that even at the highest levels, some people still care about the nation. Loyalty isn't totally dead.
Okay, so they have the memorial, they have the prime minister backing it. But getting to the king is another story. It's almost unbelievable, isn't it? Even with the kingdom falling apart, you still have court protocol trying to block these guys. The king hasn't even been holding court. So Shang Rong and Du Yuanxian have to go directly to the inner palace, the Neiting. They have to pass through multiple halls just to get to Shoujian Palace, the king's private quarters, where officials like them are strictly forbidden. What kind of pull does a 3-generation elder like Shang Rong actually have to get past all that red tape?
That's exactly it. The protocol is rigid, yeah. But Shang Rong's status is like a VIP pass. An Imperial Guard actually tries to stop them, because technically they're outer officials and shouldn't be there. But Shang Rong, with his age and standing, he just insists. And King Zhu, who's probably surprised to see him, actually lets Shang Rong in because he's so venerable. It's like this little flicker of tradition and respect that still matters, even to King Zhu. Just barely.
Okay, so they get inside. Shang Rong approaches the king, kneels down, humble but firm. He tells the king how urgent Du Yuanxian's celestial readings are, points out the king's shameful neglect of state affairs, and then he delivers this incredibly powerful line. He says they do not fear the executioner's axe, Bubi Fengri Zizhu,
Wow.
and that they dare to offend heavenly might, Ganma Tianwei, all for the good of the nation. Then he presents Du Yuanxian's memorial.
Talk about putting it all on the line.
Seriously. So now King Zhou takes this document, opens it, reads it. He's being confronted with the truth he really, really doesn't want to hear. What was the core message? What did Du Yuanxian dare to actually write down?
Well, the memorial itself, it's kind of a masterclass. It's direct, but still uses the respectful language of the court. It's structured to appeal to, like, reason, the king's duty, maybe even a little bit of fear. Its stated purpose is super clear: to protect the nation, pacify the people, cleanse evil spirits, remove demons, and uphold the ancestral temples and altars of state. He's basically starting by reminding the king, hey, this is your job description.
Okay, so he lays out the high-minded purpose, but then gets right down to the specifics he's been seeing, right? The evidence.
Exactly. He starts with this core argument. When a nation is about to rise, auspicious signs appear. When a nation is about to fall, omens of disaster are born. It's like saying history teaches us this. Then he pivots straight from that universal truth to his own first-hand observations. He details the strange mist and inauspicious signs, this evil aura encircling the inner palace, this gloomy koi shrouding the deep palace. He's basically saying, King, the cosmos is sending warning signals right to your doorstep, and my job is watching them, and I'm telling you, I see them every single night.
And he doesn't pull any punches about connecting those signs to the king's recent actions, does he?
Not at all. He delivers a direct hit. He specifically references Yunzhangzi's warning from before, and the burning of the wooden sword. He calls that out as the key turning point. He explicitly says that ignoring the great sage's words led directly to this evil aura growing stronger day by day, piercing the sky and reaching the stars, bringing no small calamity. This is a minister telling his king point blank, you were warned, you ignored it, and now you've made things much, much worse for everyone.
Ouch. And then he brings it right down to the physical state of the court itself, painting this picture of decay.
Yes, he makes it totally concrete, impossible to ignore. He talks about dust gathering on the imperial desk. He describes weeds growing on the steps of the imperial platform and moss covering the imperial stairs. It's not just political criticism, it's a visual metaphor for the whole administration rotting away. The court is literally overgrown with neglect.
And the personal responsibility? He puts it squarely on Zhu.
Undeniably. He directly blames King Zhu's infatuation with beauty, enjoying pleasures day and night, says this has caused court affairs to be chaotic and officials disappointed. It's a pretty brutal assessment of the king's personal failings and how they're wrecking the government. The blame is laid right at his feet.
And how does he wrap it up? Does he offer any hope?
He closes with this powerful, almost desperate plea for the future. He laments that the ruler and his ministers do not meet, like clouds obscuring the sun. He asks his heartbreaking question, when will we see the prosperity of joyful songs again and witness the return of peaceful days? And then, in one final declaration of his willingness to sacrifice everything, Du Yuanxin repeats his courage. Not fearing the axe, daring to speak to the death to fulfill my duty as a minister.
Whoa.
He humbly asks the king to act quickly. He's basically saying, my life is on the line here, but please, just listen, for the sake of the kingdom. King Zhu's first reaction. He hears the report and thinks, it's very good.
Initially positive, yeah.
For a second, it seems like he might actually listen. But then, bam, his mind snaps back to that earlier incident with Yunzhangzi.
And specifically how that attempt in his memory almost cost Sumairen Daji her life.
Exactly, Daji, his beloved consort. So this rational consideration just evaporates. How telling is that quick shift?
Oh, it's incredibly telling. It shows how easily personal feelings, especially for an unprincipled ruler, can just completely override reason and duty. The potential threat to Daji instantly poisons his judgment.
His affection becomes a vulnerability.
A huge vulnerability. It creates this filter where any inconvenient truth gets warped if it seems to threaten his personal comfort or attachments.
And Daji is right there to exploit that opening. Her response is, well, pure manipulation.
Masterful. In a dark way.
She immediately dismisses Yunzhangzi as a fake magician, accusing him of spreading false demonic words.
Right. She reframes the whole thing. It's not a real warning. It's sedition. It's deliberate troublemaking.
What tactics is she using there? It seems very calculated.
Classic stuff, really. Ad hominem attack, discredit the messenger by calling Yunzhangzi a fake. Then fear-mongering twists the warning about a demonic aura into demonic words aimed at confusing the king, stirring up the people.
So she turns a spiritual concern into a political threat.
Precisely. She makes it about undermining the king's authority, not protecting the kingdom's well-being. She's weaponizing the very idea of dissent.
And she doesn't let up. She accuses Du Yuanxin of being part of a cat clique, using this whole thing as an excuse to stir up trouble.
Building the conspiracy narrative.
And she paints this picture of panic among the people. The common folk are agitated, no peace because of him. Then the chilling conclusion. Kill without mercy.
Wow. So from an omen report to a call for immediate execution based on causing mass panic.
Yeah. How does that seal her control over Zhu?
She connects Du Yuanxin's report directly to instability and a threat to the king's power. It's not about the truth anymore, it's about order, as she defines it. By demanding death, she forces the king into an extreme position, making him complicit in her narrative and eliminating the source of the uncomfortable truth. It's textbook manipulation of an insecure ruler.
And King Zhu, who literally moments before thought the report was very good.
Completely flips.
He just says, Myron's words are extremely appropriate. And just like that, orders Du Yuanxin to be beheaded and displayed publicly.
as a warning against demonic words.
The speed is breathtaking. What does that instant reversal tell us about the dangers when a ruler values, well, affection over counsel?
It shows how fragile everything becomes. Justice, reason, loyalty, they all crumble when the ruler's personal desires, amplified by manipulation, become the sole driver of policy. It's not just affection, it's his unprincipled nature laid bare. Daji found the lever and he just folded. The state is now subject to whims, not wisdom.
A terrifying prospect. But thankfully, the story doesn't end there. Not everyone stays silent. Prime Minister Shang Rong steps up.
Yes, Shang Rong, a crucial figure.
His intervention feels incredibly brave given what just happened.
It really is.
Yeah.
As Prime Minister, he's the highest civil official. For him to object right after the king agreed with Daji's death sentence, that's a direct challenge. He's putting everything on the line, his position, maybe his life.
And he makes a strong case for Du Wangxian, doesn't he?
A very strong case. He reminds the king, Du Wangxian is a veteran minister serving 3 generations. Inherently loyal, deeply devoted, pouring out his blood and liver for the country.
Powerful imagery.
He stresses that reporting omens, Seishur, was Du Wangxian's job as head of the Astronomical Bureau. Not reporting it would actually be the crime.
So he's appealing to tradition, duty, loyalty. Why doesn't it work?
Because King Zhu isn't playing by those rules anymore. Shang Rong is appealing to a value system Zhu has already abandoned, thanks to Daji's influence and his own nature.
Right. Daji successfully reframed duty as troublemaking.
Exactly. So Shang Rong's logical, principled arguments just bounce off. The king's trapped in this bubble Daji created, where his own comfort is the only thing that matters. Reason has left the building.
Shang Rong also warns about the ripple effect, right? He says executing Du Wangxian unjustly will alienate the Shanga, all the other officials.
A very practical and frankly obvious warning. He sees this will destroy morale, erode trust. If a loyal minister can be killed for doing his job, who's safe? What message does that send?
It signals a breakdown of the whole system.
Absolutely. It breeds fear, silence, resentment. Good people will leave, or worse, turn against the ruler. Shang Rong is predicting the start of the regime's decay.
But King Su just digs in his heels. He rejects the plea, insists these false rumors won't stop unless Du Wangxian is punished. He's fully bought into Daji's narrative.
He has. It's self-preservation mixed with ego now. He can't admit he might be wrong or that Daji might be manipulating him. Silencing the critics seems easier than facing the criticism. It's classic authoritarian paranoia, fed by Daji.
And the scene ends with Shang Rong being basically forced out of the palace.
Forced out, yeah. Utterly powerless at that moment. You can feel his despair. Even the prime minister couldn't stop it.
Which leads us to Du Wangxian's fate. The text notes he was just waiting for the decree. He had no idea.
Completely unaware of the killing disaster coming his way. That detail just twists the knife, doesn't it?
It really does. It highlights the sheer arbitrary cruelty of it all. He probably expected, a reprimand? Maybe dismissal.
Right. He still seemed to have some faith in the process, maybe. His ignorance just underscores how broken the system had become. Integrity was now a fatal flaw.
And the decree itself is cold, brutal. Du Wangxian spread demonic words to confuse the public, take him down, behead him, to rectify state law.
Oh, what a puzzle patch. Notice how the language itself is twisted.
Yeah.
His warning becomes demonic words. His duty becomes confusing the public. The execution becomes rectifying state law. It's the official narrative solidifying, rewriting reality to justify the murder. Its language is a weapon of control.
Then the public humiliation. Stripped, bound, led to the Meridian Gate for execution. Kinned. Why the spectacle?
It's pure political theater. The Meridian Gate is a major public space. This isn't just about killing him. It's about terrorizing everyone else.
Sending a message.
A loud, clear, brutal message. See what happens when you speak out? The stripping, the binding, it dehumanizes him, makes the warning even more visceral. This is what happens to enemies of the king, or enemies of Daji. And on his way, at Julong Bridge, he meets Meibo. And Du Wangxian utters that heartbreaking lament.
Ah, yes. Fame and achievement turned to dust. Years of loyal heart now turned to ice cold. Just devastating.
It's the sounds of complete disillusionment. Everything he worked for, his loyalty, his identity gone, dust and ice cold. It's not just death, it's the death of his belief in the very system he served. It's a profound betrayal.
When loyalty gets you killed, what's left?
Exactly. What does that say about the state itself?
But this moment, this raw despair, it ignites something in Meibo. He's described as wearing a big red robe. That feels symbolic.
It really does. The red robe marks his high status, sure, but red often symbolizes courage, passion, maybe righteous anger. He literally stands out against the backdrop of injustice. He's not going to just stand by.
And his first move is to stop the procession and confront Shangrong. He demands answers.
Wants to know why.
Shangrong tells him the whole story, Daji's influence, the demonic words, accusation, the king refusing to listen, laying it all out, the helplessness probably evident in his voice.
Yeah, and hearing this, Meibu. Well, the text says, Susanu. His spirit's agitated, samadhi fire burning in his chest.
That's not just being angry. That's a deep spiritual outrage. The samadhi fire suggests a kind of pure, righteous fury. He's not just upset, he's profoundly disturbed on a moral level.
A fundamental reaction against the injustice.
Yes. Unlike Shangrong, who seemed resigned, Meibo is energized by it. Justice isn't abstract for him. It's a burning need.
And he turns that fire on Shangrong, accuses him of being silent and helpless.
A harsh critique.
He says Shangrong valued his own personal position over the pillars of the court. He even calls him afraid of death, greedy for life.
Oof, that's hitting hard. He's accusing Shangrong of moral cowardice, essentially. Complicity through silence.
He's drawing a line. Are you loyal to the king's unjust will or to the principles the kingdom should stand for?
It's that core dilemma under tyranny, isn't it? Survival versus integrity. Where do you draw the line? Meibo is drawing it very clearly.
And then the most audacious move. Meibo tells the guards to stop. He declares, "Let me face the king with the prime minister."
Just like that. Takes charge.
And he physically grabs Shangrong and pulls him back towards the inner court.
Incredible. That's direct defiance. He's not just arguing, he's physically intervening, forcing the issue, dragging the highest official back to confront the king.
It's a huge escalation.
Absolutely. It's not just about saving Du Yuanxian now. It's a direct challenge to the corruption itself. He's risking everything on this confrontation. Zhang Rong and then Meibo, they want to see the king. And Meibo, showing some serious guts, steps right up to question the king.
He does. He asks him straight out. What crime did Du Yuanxian commit to deserve execution?
King Zhu's response is, well, it's pretty much what you would expect from a tyrant trying to cover his tracks, right?
Textbook justification, really. He claims Du Yuanxian was conspiring with sorcerers, spreading demonic words. That's the term.
Demonic words.
So, fake news, ancient style. Pretty much. Confusing the army, confusing the people, disrupting the court, slandering the government, the whole checklist.
He insists the guy deserved to die for, quote, deceiving the monarch. Classic.
It is. But what's really striking is Meibo's reaction. He doesn't just back down. Immediately fires back. A full-on rebuke. He contrasts King Zhu's rule with a legendary, virtuous Yao king.
Oh, invoking the sage kings. That's bold.
Extremely bold. He reminds you that King Yao actually listened to his officials. Then he hits him with the fact that Zhu hasn't even held court for half a year. According to Meibo, indulging in pleasures with his concubine, Daji, in the inner palace, ignoring all advice.
Wow, okay.
And then he uses this incredibly powerful analogy. Say, Sistiavion, the king is like the heart and mind, the ministers are like the limbs.
Heart and limbs. Okay, unpack that a bit.
He explains, if the heart is upright, the limbs move correctly. But if the heart is corrupt, the limbs become crooked, perverse.
So he's basically saying, you, King Zhu, you are the corrupt heart causing all this dysfunction.
Precisely. It's a direct attack on his moral legitimacy. He's saying a corrupt king creates a corrupt state. It's not just about Daji, it's about Zhu himself.
That takes immense courage.
Absolutely. And he warns him, executing a loyal minister like Du, just based on what a concubine says, will destroy the nation's Lang Dong, its pillars, its mainstays. He pleads, begs him to spare Du Yuanxian.
Okay, let's pause there. I mean, Meibo is just laying it all out, risking absolutely everything. That analogy, the heart and limbs, it's challenging the very foundation of his rule, isn't it?
It really is. He's tapping into that ancient idea of the mandate of heaven, that a ruler's legitimacy comes from their virtue. By comparing Zhu unfavorably to King Yao and using that analogy, he's essentially saying, you're losing the mandate.
It's not just policy disagreement, it's a fundamental moral challenge.
Exactly. And you can imagine how King Zhu reacts to that.
Yeah, I'm guessing. Not well.
Not well at all. Furious. Absolutely enraged. He accuses Meibo of being Du Yongxian's accomplice shouts about him breaking court protocol.
Speaking out of turn, that kind of thing.
Right. Interestingly, he initially spares Meibo's life, maybe because of his history of service, maybe something else, but he strips him of his title, Shang Defu, kicks him out of office permanently.
Okay, so demoted, disgraced, but alive. Maybe Meibo takes the hint.
You'd think, but no. Meibo is, as we said, undeterred. He lashes out again.
Seriously, what does he say now?
He calls kings a Jew, a muddle-headed ruler, basically incompetent and morally lost. He blames Zhu for destroying that sacred bond of loyalty between ruler and minister.
He's really doubling down.
He is. He cries out about the dynasty's foundation, built over centuries by Cheng Tang, now crumbling. He points out the Grand Tutors away fighting, leaving the court in chaos.
And then
the final heartbreaking line. He says he cannot face the ancestors. He just can't bear the shame of what's happening.
wow, that must have been the final straw.
It was. King Zhu loses it completely. Orders Meibo seized. The sentence,
Woodglot.
execution by a golden mace, straight to the head, swift, brutal. Just as they're about to carry it out, Daji steps in.
Ah, Daji, the concubine, she intervenes.
She does. And here's where things take an even darker, more sinister turn. This is a critical moment.
Okay, what does she propose?
She argues that Meibo's defiance is, DCO, utterly rebellious against all norms, almost unnatural. She says a simple death, like the mace,
Yeah.
is too good for him. It's not enough.
Not enough. What could be worse?
She proposes something new, something inventive in its cruelty.
Okay, I'm almost afraid to ask.
She describes it, a bronze pillar. Copper pillar, really. Huge, about 2 zhang high.
How high is that?
About 6.6 meters, maybe 22 feet.
Yeah.
Thick, HE, around maybe 8-9 feet in circumference.
A giant metal pillar.
Exactly. And it has 3 fire doors.
Speak up.
Top, middle, and bottom.
Fire doors? What for?
That's the horrifying part. It's heated from the inside. Yeah. Packed with charcoal until it glows red hot.
Oh, no.
And the victims, those accused of demonic words or insulting the king or whatever crime Zhou decides, they're stripped naked.
Okay.
Then they're chained to the red-hot pillar. Their shin, their limbs, their bones. Everything is scorched, branded, burned away.
My God.
The text says in almost no time at all they turn to smoke and bone dust. Nothing less but ashes.
That's monstrous. Just pure invention of horror.
And Daji gives it a name, Paoluo. She claims it will terrify all the cunning ministers and those just seeking fame into silence.
It's designed for terror, isn't it? Not just execution.
Absolutely. It's performative cruelty on a grand scale. A public spectacle designed to crush dissent before it even starts. This raises a really important point, doesn't it? About how cruelty itself gets weaponized in regimes like this.
Yeah, it's not just anger, it's calculated. It's strategic terror. Like you said, engineering cruelty. We see that later in history too, don't we? The spectacle of punishment.
We do, from crucifixions in Rome to, well, more modern examples. The cruelty becomes the message. It's aimed at everyone watching, not just the victim.
Chilling. So the Paoluo is designed to stop anyone else from thinking about speaking out like Meibo.
Precisely. Maximum pain, maximum visibility, maximum fear.
And King Zhu, what does he think of this perfect method?
His reaction is perhaps the most disturbing part. He's delighted. He says, Zhuang, the beauty's method is truly perfect.
Perfect. He calls that perfect.
Yes. And he immediately issues the decrees. Du Yongxian is to be beheaded, his head displayed publicly. Meibo, he's thrown into prison, presumably to await the Paoluo once it's built.
So he's the first intended victim.
It seems so. And the order goes out. Build the Paoluo immediately. Make it fast.
Wow. The speed at which this escalates, it's breathtakingly awful. So what about the Prime Minister, Sheng Rong? He's been witnessing all this.
Yes. Sheng Rong sees this horror unfolding. He's outside the Shoshan Palace, and the text says he just sighs deeply and laments to Shure.
Meaning?
Now, the great affairs of the world are lost. It's a cry of complete despair. He sees the dynasty heading for ruin.
He must be torn apart inside.
Absolutely. Think about it. He served loyally, likely for decades, perhaps even under Zhu's father. He remembers the dynasty's founder, the virtuous Cheng Tang.
Right.
And now he sees this unrighteous ruler desecrating everything. He talks about the seer, the ancestral temples are undefended, the sacred altars of land and grain are becoming ruins.
That's like the ultimate symbolic collapse for someone like him.
It is. It's the end of everything he believes in. He says, I cannot bear to see it.
So what does he do? He can't possibly endorse this Paoluo thing.
He can't. And he seems to realize he can't change King Zhu's path either. So he makes a choice, a very difficult one.
Which is?
He resigns, formally requests to retire.
He just quits.
He does. Officially, he cites his old age, fear of making mistakes, the polite excuses.
But everyone knows the real reason.
Oh, undoubtedly. His resignation statement subtly points to his disgust with the King-up. Trusting Daji, building the Paoluo, it's clear.
How does King Zhu take that? Another senior figure essentially condemning him.
Zhu accepts it, perhaps reluctantly. He gives Shangrong praise for his past service, grants him an honorable retirement, gifts, orders local officials to look after him.
So a polite dismissal on the surface.
Exactly, a veneer of propriety covering this massive rupture.
Okay, so Shangrong leaves, but isn't that problematic? Abandoning ship when things are at their absolute worst, what does that say? Is it courage or?
That's the crucial question, isn't it? And the text gives us this really poignant farewell scene. Other top officials, Huang Feihu, Biyan, the Weici princes, they all gather at the Tenli Long Pavilion, a traditional place for seeing people off.
To say goodbye.
Yes, but also to challenge him. They basically accuse him of being cruel, Qian, by leaving them, by abandoning the dynasty now.
Wow. So they see it as a betrayal.
Some do, initially. But Shangrong, apparently in tears, explains himself. He says he's completely helpless. He tried, but he couldn't sway the king.
He feels powerless.
Utterly. He foresees disaster. Pamel, heaven's sorrow, the people's resentment, chaos just brewing on its own. He feels his staying would actually make things worse, maybe even implicate him.
How so? By legitimizing Zhu's regime just by being there.
Perhaps, or maybe he feared being forced to participate or becoming the next target. He expresses hope that maybe some virtuous and talented people will emerge to save the day, but he can't do it.
So his resignation isn't cowardice, in his view. It's a recognition of futility, maybe even a form of protest.
I think that's exactly how we should see it. It's a different kind of protest from Meibo's fiery confrontation. It's a principled withdrawal.
When direct action fails or is impossible.
Right. It's a statement about moral integrity. He refuses to be complicit in this overwhelming corruption, even if it means stepping away from the power he held for so long. His farewell poem expresses all this sorrow and regret.
That choice, stay and fight a losing battle, potentially compromising yourself, or leave with your integrity intact, but perhaps feeling like you abandoned your post, that's a timeless dilemma.
It really is. It speaks to that tension between loyalty to an institution or a ruler and loyalty to your own conscience, to fundamental morality. When does one override the other? Shangrong's choice gives us one answer. Meibo's gives us another.
Two different paths in the face of the same horror.
Exactly. King Zhu, the sources paint him as just lost, right? Lost in indulgence.
Completely. Neglecting duties, court's a mess, basically checked out of governing.
And it's in this vacuum that his consort, Daji, steps in.
Yeah.
And she introduces this truly terrifying idea.
She does, and she frames it, incredibly, as a divinely transmitted secret method. Even calls it a treasure for governing the nation.
A treasure. Can you paint a clearer picture of this Paoluo? Maybe like the sheer scale of it. How would that have looked?
Absolutely. And remember, Daji is often seen as this corrupting influence already, the fox spirit idea.
Right.
So the Paoluo is like her masterpiece of cruelty. The sources describe it vividly. It's a towering bronze pillar, massive, 2 zang high,
Which is,
roughly 6.6 meters or 22 feet. Think like a 2-story building.
wow. Yeah.
And 8 chi around, that's about 2.6 meters, 8.5 feet in circumference. So big and thick.
Just imagine seeing that.
And it wasn't static. It had 3 layers of fire gates and even 2 rolling wheels.
Rolling wheels.
So they could move it.
Exactly. Suggests they can wheel it out ceremoniously. A mobile terror machine designed to be heated until it glowed that terrifying fiery red.
It sounds like pure psychological warfare almost.
Oh, it was meant to be an unmistakable public display, impossible to ignore. Brutality is theater.
A treasure for governing. It sounds more like, I don't know, a prop for some twisted puppet show.
Right.
So why? Why would a king, even a tyrant, go for something so barbaric, so public? What was the official line from King Zhu? Well, his motivation, and remember Daji's whispering in his ear, It was multifold and pretty chilling.
Okay.
He genuinely seemed to believe it was a tool to enforce new laws, really harsh ones, and crucially, to intimidate his officials. Total silence.
You wanted them scared.
He wanted to stop what he called basically, annoying petitions, loyal advice he didn't want to hear anymore.
Okay.
So directly, it was punishment for anyone daring to insult the ruler inside the palace.
Right.
Or using sharp words to slander and abuse, cat see.
So it's about crushing any criticism.
Pretty much. In his warped view, this was efficient governing, unquestioning obedience through terror. Make an example.
And the first example.
The first example he declared would be Meibo, a loyal, respected official.
So the stage is set. The Paoluo is built. Maybe it's standing there, cold and menacing, before they light the fires.
Yeah, imagine the tension.
And Meibo is chosen, not just some minor figure. Right. Tell us about Meibo. Who was he?
Right. Not random at all. Meibo held the rank of Hus, a high official. And crucially, he was a Huna,
Meaning?
an old minister who had served 3 dynasties. So he represents continuity, loyalty, institutional memory. Someone who knew how things should be, maybe.
Predating King Zhu's
Yeah.
excesses.
Exactly. Known for direct, sometimes uncomfortable advice. The very kind of official Zhu now wanted gone.
So the scene unfolds. Zhu summons the court.
The whole court. Then this massive bronze pillar gets pushed forward. Imagine the sound of those wheels.
Oh, yeah.
And then they stoke the fires. Right there, in front of everyone. It glows red hot. You can just picture the fear, the confusion, utter disbelief among the officials.
They'd never seen anything like this. This new punishment.
Nothing remotely like it.
So Meibo, this veteran official, he's confronted with this monstrous thing. Does he even know what it is?
That's what's so telling. King Zhu asks him, what is this? And Meibo just answers truthfully, I don't know what this object is. Exactly. It highlights just how new, how alien, how terrifying this Paoluo was. A complete break from any known justice.
So Zhu gets to name it.
He does. Proudly calls it Paoluo. And then, with real malice, tells Meibo he'll be branded
Until your bones and sinews turn to ash. Yeah. It's a declaration meant to shock everyone there into total submission.
Faced with that. I mean, most people would beg, right? Plead for mercy, try to reason. What does Meibo do?
No, not at all. It's quite the opposite, really. He hears his fate, lets out this great cry, and then he curses King Zhu.
He curses him to his face.
Right to his face. Calls him a dim-witted, incompetent ruler.
Wow. Gutsy.
Incredibly, he declares his own death is lighter than a goose feather. He doesn't fear it for himself.
So what's he upset about?
His real sorrow, the text says, is for the Qing Empire, his ancestors' legacy. He sees Zhu utterly destroying it. So it's loyalty to the dynasty, not the man.
Exactly. It's this incredibly powerful moment. Unwavering principle, pure defiance, even facing certain agonizing death.
It's just unimaginable. The cruelty. The scene must have been just horrific for the officials watching. Can you walk us through the details? The source doesn't hold back, does it?
No, it really doesn't. It's graphic, and I think it's meant to be, to underscore the depth of Zhu's depravity.
Okay.
So Zhu, enraged by Meibo's defiance, orders him stripped naked, then bound with iron chains, hands and feet, and then forced to embrace the glowing pillar.
Oh, God.
The heat would have been. Well, the source says, Wusuafal, poor Meibo cried out once and died.
Just like that.
The shock, the pain. But it doesn't stop there. The description goes on.
So his skin and bones burning, the smell turning to ash, right there in the hall.
Right there in the 9-bay hall, an unbearable smell. Quickly, just ashes.
And there's a poem.
Yes, the account ends with this poignant poem. It laments his loyal heart, half a lifetime of courage, but it also says his fragrant name, his reputation, will live on for 10,000 years.
So even in death, he wins, in a way. The chronicler makes sure of it.
Exactly. A stark contrast to the king's villainy. Meibo's virtue is cemented.
So this public spectacle, this horror show, what was the immediate feeling in the court? You said fear, obviously, but what else?
It was palpable. The sources say everyone was terrified. Pale faces, trembling.
I can imagine.
And many immediately had thoughts of retreating, getting out, even on intentions of just resigning altogether.
So the Paoluo worked, in a way.
Yeah.
Zhuo got his silence.
In that immediate moment, yes, open dissent was crushed right there, but it was a brittle silence. Underneath, it's so deep resentment. It fundamentally broke that trust, that contract between ruler and minister.
It wasn't just fear then.
No, it was deeper. A sense of foreboding. A realization that the rules had changed. Loyalty could now be met with this. A dark, new era had begun.
That's a powerful point. So it wasn't just rank-and-file fear. What about the big players? Huizi, Jizi, Big N, and especially Huang Feihu, the military guy. How did they process this?
Right, these weren't just random officials. They were pillars of the state. Men with real power, real wisdom.
So what did they do?
They gathered, not just shaking in their boots, but deeply concerned for the nation itself. They talked about the tate, the chaos in the empire.
Things falling apart.
Yeah, and the unrest in Beihai, which wasn't just abstract worry. That was a major rebellion brewing up north, a serious threat.
Okay.
They saw Daji's influence, and now the Paoluo is accelerating the destruction of loyal officials.
And they worried about how this would play out elsewhere.
Absolutely. Their biggest fear was how the hate, the feudal lords across the land, would react when they heard the news. Would they still follow a king who barbecues his loyal ministers?
Good question. And this is where Huang Feihu steps in, the military leader. He had a particularly sharp take, didn't he?
He really did. His insight is crucial. A moment of just stark clarity amid the horror.
What did he say?
He declares, "Ichieche, this Paoluo isn't branding ministers.
Okay.
It's branding King Zhu's empire. It's destroying the Changtang dynasty itself."
Wow. That's a powerful metaphor.
Isn't it? He's saying Meibo is the immediate victim, but the real victim is the kingdom, the dynasty's foundation.
And he backs this up.
Yeah, he quotes this ancient saying, basically a core principle of good governance, the Pitfusol.
Can you break that down?
Roughly. If the ruler treats ministers like his own arms and legs, they'll treat him like their heart and soul. But if he treats them like dirt and weeds...
They'll see him as an enemy.
Exactly. Enemy. Then he makes this chillingly accurate prediction. Disaster will strike within a few years. He sees the Paoluo not as strength, but as Zhu shooting himself in the foot, guaranteeing his own downfall.
So while the court is reeling from this, terror, bad omens, Huang Feihu's dire predictions, what are King Zhu and Daji up to? Are they getting any of this?
Not a clue. Tragically, completely oblivious. While the court is plunged into fear and dread, they just retreat.
Back to their own world.
Back to the Shoyan palace, their little bubble, and they celebrate.
Celebrate.
Yeah. King Zhu, hand in hand with Daji, celebrating her clever strategy.
He thought it was clever.
He genuinely praised the Paoluo. Said it made the officials silence them, tongue-tied, made them retreat meekly.
Unbelievable.
He truly believed it was a rare treasure for governing the nation, a brilliant fix. So they carry on partying, music, feasting, totally convinced of their own genius, deaf and blind to the storm they've unleashed.
And this.
Woo!
This partying, the noise, it even reaches Queen Jiang, the actual queen.
It does, late into the night. And Queen Jiang, who kind of represents the traditional moral compass of the court, she hears it.
And she's not happy.
Deeply disturbed. She laments Daji's influence, the disjonctory bewitching the king's wisdom, and how she's leading the ruler to act unrighteously.
She sees the moral decay.
Clearly, it's not just the noise, it's what it represents. The destruction of the kingdom, of her husband's integrity.
So what does she do?
She decides to go to Shishing Palace for a visit.
A visit. Sounds like more than a friendly chat.
Oh, absolutely. It's not casual. It's a direct confrontation brewing. Courageous, almost desperate. It signals another major turning point, a clash within the royal family itself, with more tragic consequences to come.